If you shower or brush your teeth or try to make your hair look presentable, here's some good news. Dollar Shave Club has a lot of stuff to help you out. Dollar Shave Club delivers everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, even a wipe that leaves your tush feeling tingly clean. All of Dollar Shave Club's products are made with top-shelf ingredients that won't break your budget. You'll feel the difference. Plus, shipping is free with your membership. And here's a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club's products for just $5. You can get their Daily Essential Starter Set. It comes with Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, their amazing butt wipes, and their world-famous shave butter. And their best razor, the 6-Blade Executive. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in a shampoo, toothpaste, or anything else you need. Check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Chad.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but didn't.
In my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't or why it wouldn't be Russia. So, just to repeat it, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. And the sentence should have been, and I thought I would be maybe a little bit unclear on the transcript or unclear on the actual video. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia.
Yeah, and now, the memes and what did Richard Marx say last night? I won't be waiting for you.
I wouldn't be waiting for you.
Wouldn't be waiting for you. It's just, it's. You just step back, and I'm looking at poor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Can I just ask you a question? Is there a more thankless job right now than Sarah Huckabee Sanders' job? Is there? Is there another job out there where you could think, I don't know if I want that. That's a horrible job. Seems like a bad job. Now, I know people are going to, lion tamer, this, that, and the other. I'm just, let's be real. Like, in politics, all right, let's just limit it to politics. Can you find another job where you're like, that's just, because she knows she's got to go out there every day and answer all kinds of questions every day about her boss and try to spin stuff. And the whole would and wouldn't thing, I mean, in life, as a person who speaks for a living, there's times where I wish I would have said that. I should have said it. I meant it like this. I get that. But you goofed on this one. You screwed up. And the would or wouldn't say, take all of that away, the entire situation, you still got an F. All right? Now, the hysteria around it, that's on everybody else. But you still drop the ball. But I just look at poor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I think, is it worth that $2 billion? Right? The stress that goes on with it, is it worth it? Just, I'm just asking. And there is, look, the hysteria around Trump is insane, right? From the Bill Maher's.
I just want to ask the Trump voters, I know you're out there, I know some of you watch me, what is left for you? He's plainly a traitor who doesn't defend his own country.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think he's a traitor. All right? I don't think, but, and here's something else. He's also not a politician. Let's also remember that. But yeah, I mean, he screwed it up the other day. I get that. The hysteria around it.
It seems to me that Russia's got something on him because, he's over the edge with this one. He's saying basically to him, please don't snitch. Whatever it is what I saw.
Well, snitches get stitches. So let's just also remember that for a second. But it is funny to watch all of this stuff. People are, hey, can he be impeached because of all of these things?
The constitutional standard for impeachment is treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors. And so the question is, was what he did treason. And treason is actually defined in the Constitution. It's a rare offense in that way. It's actually defined, and the definition refers to aiding enemies. And so the question is Russia our enemy?
There's a question. They brought somebody on because, is this impeachable? Huh? Is this? We're looking for something. Is this impeachable? They're doing the Capone is the best way to describe it. They're doing the Capone. Well, we can't get him on this, and we can't get him on that. RICO's not invented, so we can't get him on this. So what are we going to get him on? I got a great idea. We'll get him on tax evasion. Yeah, because we're going to get him on something. So now it's like, is this... Okay, hold on. So that thing he did wasn't impeachable? Yeah. The other day, the press conference, all that stuff, was that impeachable?
And the answer is it may be an adversary, it may be a foe, it may even be a competitor, as the president said, but it's not an enemy. We are not at war with Russia. So technically, no, there was no treason.
Oh, God, we were so close. We were so close to that Pence presidency that we're all waiting for. So funny. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet to us. Love it when you do. You can also text the program as well. Obama, speaking about Nelson Mandela, would have been his 100th birthday, and he's out there and about. People are probably going, think you should be aware. It's like, you know, after every president leaves, we always think that the president should all wear a shirt, you know, like when Obama came in, people like Bush's, you miss me yet shirt. And it's the same thing with Obama. You miss me yet? Right? You miss me yet? For a lot of you out there, no, you couldn't go fast enough. For a lot of people out there, even in the middle, it's like, well, I'm glad there's not with you, we didn't get any of the craziness like this and the hysteria. You know, but whatever. I mean, you know, how much does it play into your life? Any of this stuff. It's fun to listen to, right? But, you know, you're still not going, I'm not going to work today because Trump said he should have said would or wouldn't and can't and shouldn't and could have and if onlys and A
democracy demands we're able also to get inside the reality of people who are different than us, so we can understand their point of view. Maybe we can change their minds, but maybe they'll change ours.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's right. I think that's really right. That's the beauty of it. You know, I always hear people say, you know, this is a changing, the electric's changing. You look around here and over here, it's this, and it's going from red to blue or blue to red and this, that, and the other. And I always laugh because a lot of times has nothing to do with people changing each other's minds or them getting just over and displeased with the government that's in front. A lot of times it's the demographics change. Some people move out. Some people move in. They change the demographics of the entire thing. And it goes from being red to blue or blue to red and has nothing to do with changing anybody's minds because we're so close-minded anymore. We're not going to listen to what anybody has to say.
And you can't do this if you just out of hand disregard what your opponents have to say from the start. And you can't do it if you insist that those who aren't like you, because they're white or because they're male, that somehow there's no way they can understand what I'm feeling, that somehow they lack standing to speak on certain matters.
That's true. God, he still gives a damn good speech. I don't care what anybody says. Right or left, he gives a good speech, right? He delivers a hell of a speech. That he does do. Do you think they put a little extra reverb on him always? I always feel like they throw a little reverb on him, like a little, just a little something. But he's out there, and people are also now starting to do the same thing. Every time he speaks, and I see this with the media, every time he speaks, they like to chop up some of the stuff he says and says, oh, that was meant for Trump. Or that was meant for... Now, maybe sometimes you're just giving a speech about stuff. Not everything's meant for something. But because they're looking to manufacture all kinds of things because it's great to do, right? We love conflict. That's what reality TV is. Reality TV is 30 or 60 minutes of conflict. There's always got to be drama. Quick, camera pans fast and then right in on somebody's face. There always has to be something like that. That's what they're always looking for. We want that drama. So if we can't get it naturally, we'll manufacture it. So if he says something, he's in Africa, and he's talking about strong-arm dictators, which there are plenty of in Africa, we're like, oh, that's meant for Trump. Because you're looking to manufacture. That's what you're looking to do. That's what you're looking to do. Because that's part of the narrative and the entertainment value. When Trump first ran, I always tell everybody, you know what? In this world, in this day and age, this is what people care about when you're looking at certain situations. People don't care about right or wrong. They care about interesting. If you're right and boring, nobody cares. If you're wrong and boring, nobody cares. If you're interesting, we can forgive you both being right and wrong. And that's the one thing Trump is. He's interesting. That's where all the hysteria comes from. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
What's been done in the past hasn't worked, so we're trying a new approach. But to act like he hasn't been tough on Russia, that he hasn't called them out, is simply not true, and it simply completely changes everything that this administration has done in regards to that country.
Hardest job in politics is that job. Sarah Huckabee Sanders goes out there and she takes a walloping every day, right? The left, the comic geniuses, they make fun of her and they hammer her, right? On the other side of things, people just, the average person just, how do you work for somebody like that? He is just a liar. And it is tough. And while all that is going on, she goes out there and she'll say something. And within an hour, within 5 minutes, within that very second, sometimes it is being spun another way by the president. It is a tough job. It is a thankless task, would be maybe the best way to describe that right there. It is a thankless task. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We have a poll up today, and it's about the media. It is about the media. And the media, do you even trust the media anymore? Right? Do you even trust the media? 11% say I trust the media. 27% of you say I somewhat trust them. 47% say I don't trust them. 15% say fake news. I'm in the I somewhat trust them. I know the media, depending on where I'm going, is going to deliver some of the truth. They're not going to deliver all of the truth because now we have our a la carte media that's just no longer about delivering the news because there's nothing in that, right? You look at ESPN. So you go and you look at ESPN. What is ESPN anymore? What's their big shows? It's shows where they sit around and they argue because just delivering highlights isn't what it is anymore. So you had to do something else. So I know that they're going to give me some truth, but they're not going to give me all of the truth. So if you go to MSNBC, they're going to give you some of what might be true, but then you go over to Fox, they're going to give you the other part of that, which is also not going to be what MSNBC gave you. So you've got to put it all together. And that to me is frustrating. So I'm on the I somewhat believe the media. I don't think they're lying. I just don't think they're telling you everything. Right? They're not telling you all of the stuff. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us each and every day at this very time. We like to take you and give you something that makes you smile and that makes your brain a little bit bigger. We call this our urban word of the day.
It's time for the urban word of the day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban word of the day.
Oh, this one's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Caucasity. What's that? Something done with audacity of white privilege. Man, that's the caucasity in that person. Right? That kind of makes you laugh. Like, again, take all this stuff with a grain of salt. We're having fun. So, but when you hear these words, you go, I know what that is. I know what that is. You'll hear somebody say, man, the caucasity of that person to do something. Meaning maybe you've done something. You have the audacity to do something that nobody else would do, and they're assuming you did it only because you're a cracker. Caucasity is your urban word of the day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the urban word of the day. We damn stretched your cranium.
They also recalled that miraculous moment when they first heard a British diver's voice after 10 days. One of the boys says he was sent to greet the diver. Then another of the boys stepped forward to translate as the diver immediately told them to move to higher ground. The boys, thanking the medical staff at the hospital, also noted how well they were treated by their medical teams, who allowed them to watch the World Cup final. Most said they were cheering for champions France.
Of course they were. So they're out. They spoke today. They're out of the hospital. All is well. That ends well. And that is a good thing. But now a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen going forward with them. Are they going to have issues? Is there going to be PTSD and things of that nature? Here's the beauty of young kids. Young kids bounce back, and the strength of what happens to them at times at a young age, I think, will show. And they survive this. And I have a feeling the one thing about these kids, because you're always bonded in situations like this, there will be a bond like these kids, like they had in the Andes, with the plane crash there of the rugby team in the 60s and 70s, you're going to have something similar to this. You will have a bond forever, which I think is something that it's incredible. 323-538-2423. I've joined up with a company, partnered with them, and they are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. First and foremost, there's a lot of, groups out there like ARP that, they advocate on things that, quite frankly, a lot of you don't share those values, right? That's not the thing that you do. You don't share those values. You're not on board with a lot of what they do. And that's what AMAC does. They have your values in mind when they go and advocate on your behalf. But on top of all that, they got benefits like you couldn't believe. 40% off movie tickets, access to all kinds of things, like 40% off at theme parks, SeaWorld, Legoland, Six Flags, Disneyland, Disney World, and so much more. And discount hotels, travel, and rental cars as well. Now get ready for this. How would you like to join them today if you're over 50 and do it for free? Doesn't cost you a penny, no cost, no tricks, no credit card. Just go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. You're going to get a year membership for free. Doesn't cost you a penny. Or call 888-355-1668. That's 888-355-1668. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime. amac.us/Chad or 888-355-1668. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I'm not sure that anything is proven that football itself causes it. Now, we do know from what my understanding is that the repeated blows to the head cause it. So I'm assuming that every sport that you have, football included, could be a problem with that, right? As long as you've got any kind of contact, you could have that. That does not diminish the fact that the game is still safer than it's ever been in the history of the game, because we continue to tweak the game, to try to make it safer for our players.
That right there is North Carolina's head football coach, Larry Fedora, saying that football is under attack. Football itself is under attack. It's being attacked because of CTE. You know, right now they're doing a big study about soccer, and people are saying, you know, they're doing this big study. I said, yeah, I get that. I said, are you worried? I'm like, no. I said, first of all, I'm 5'10". I was never great in the air, right? I didn't rise like a salmon. I know, despite all the things I say, I didn't rise like a salmon or a cat. And, you know, the reality is I would go 5 games and the ball would never come anywhere near me in the air. And even if it did, I usually had a giant defender on me. I'm like, I'm not getting that. So I wouldn't even jump at times. I was like, yeah, I'm not giving him away. And I would look at a guy, I'm like, why'd you do that? He's 6'3", and he can rise like a salmon, right? I'm good in the ground. Put the ball to me in the ground. Don't ever do that again. So I'm not worried. Football is safer. He's right about some things. Football, like everything else, football is safer. The difference is, though, we know that while it's safer, there is now truly an understanding of what the inherent risk is in the game itself. And it's not just the repeated massive blows. That's the other thing. People say, are you worried about it? You know, I'm like, no, when it comes to soccer, because the fact is we didn't have that. I mean, you may get, for a person like me, even guys who are great defenders may not head the ball, but a couple times a game, if that. It's not repeated. It's not like the lineman who, you know, you go and it's 30, 40, 60, 100 times a day in practice and over again. And so I was never really worried about it, even when they said they're starting to do a study. But yes, the game itself is safer across the board. We put the guys back together. They understand nutrition and the different ways that they do things, the stretching and the different ways that they're putting their bodies through stuff. So, yeah, maybe as a whole it's safer, but still doesn't mean we don't understand the inherent risk. The risk now we know. We did know back then, right? We know now. We didn't know back then. So in some ways, yeah, he's got a bit of right. It is probably safer, but the reality is the danger is still there. And I don't know if you can get people say, well, one day we may be able to come up with it. The fact is your brain is not really attached to anything. It's kind of floating around in there. So until you can figure out how to get into your cranium and put some sort of foam around it, there's probably not a lot you're going to be able to do. And I know they're trying all kinds of new things. I know this year that they've got a new kickoff rule now, which is for the NFL. They're trying it, which is odd because normally they get these things done right at their winter meetings, like after the Super Bowl, and then they decide. But they said, no, we're going to try it just last week, where normally the guy that would the kicker who would kick off on the after a touchdown or a field goal, he would start running, and then everybody else would be with him and start running. Now you have to go from a dead stop. You have to be lined up 5 on 5 from each side, so nobody can run. And then the other team has to be, all of them except for 3 have to be 10 yards away. So the receiving team, and you inside that 10 yards, there is no hitting zone. So the receiving team only has 3 guys back. And the thought is, well, that'll make it easier. My thought when I first saw this is, no, it won't. No, it won't. Now you're going to have guys do pooch kicks because it's going to be an opportunity to get through and get the ball. And the other thing is you're going to give a guy now a massive opportunity to catch the ball with nobody in front of him for 15 or 20 yards and really get motoring. So while it may be safer for the people in the front, I think the guy receiving the ball is going to be more dangerous. And I'm already having the battle. You guys have no idea the battle in my house with Jack. It's all he wants to do. His obsession with football it's a passion. It's the same thing I had for soccer. It's a passion for football. I had 2 obsessions in sports when I was a kid growing up. I loved golf, but it was expensive, and I like soccer. My dad, he likes soccer more than he liked golf. So, but those were my 2 things. His sport, he likes basketball. He loves basketball. Like, he loves Curry. He loves the players. He loves the sport, and he loves to go shoot hoops. But his obsession with football, his passion, and I don't know. I keep telling his mom, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen, because he's just every time, I want to play football. I want to play football. I want to play football. And like, you're playing football. You're playing flag football. You're playing flag football. I told you that's all you're going to play. I want to play flag football, but then I'm going to play tackle football. I'm going to play tackle when I'm 10. You're not. You're not. When you're 14, 15, 16, and hopefully by then the data will start coming in even more as they collect it, and then we'll go from there. But even then, dude, you might have to be an adult and going into college before I say go for it, because at that point in time, it's on you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I love this story, right? We'll get to some immigration stuff here in a minute, but I love this story. So, this day and age where we hear people, getting phone calls, hey, there's a black person having a party here and they're barbecuing, or they're in the pool and they're swimming, or they're whatever. It drives me crazy. They're trying to use a coupon. This is great. So there's a 13-year-old little kid. His name's Jaquan Faulkner. He's been selling hot dogs outside of his home in North Minneapolis, right? Because he's trying to raise money for new clothes and stuff like that. Somebody, of course, bitched and said that right there is not a city-sanctioned little thing. He's got this little, thing that you would get at the Bed Bath & Beyond, this little hot dog maker, right? And he's got a little table, and he's even got a little cash register, and he's selling himself hot dogs. So because there's always a do-gooder that complains. So the city comes out, the police officer says, look, you can't do this. But hold on a second. So they started to get the ball rolling, and they went and got him their own permit, and they paid to get the permit themselves. And they got him his own Mr. Faulkner's old-fashioned hot dog. The health inspector did it as well. He says, I spent time training him, show him how to make the temperature of the hot dogs so they're above 140 degrees. I bought him a thermometer and a hand washing station. I love that. That's a good story right there. That's a good story. And apparently it all started with an unused hot dog machine. So good for him, man. Way to go. There's a future entrepreneur. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. I love hearing from you. I look at this immigration debate that's raging in our country still to a certain extent. And yesterday I had somebody, say, oh, look at all the kids are still separated. Kids are still separated. Parents are being separated. And I read a great article where a dad basically said, if I'd known they would have done this and this is what they were going to do, I would never have come. And I said, you saying that, even in an article that not a lot of people are going to read and nobody on the left is going to report, is essentially what Trump wanted. If you knew this wasn't going to happen, then your ass wasn't coming. And then that's what they're looking for. They want to show you not to come. This is what happens when you come. This right here is what happens when you come. Yet we're still having a disaster when it comes to trying to sort out what's going on with some of these kids. We've deported some of their parents. Immigration is still going to be a big issue, but it's going to be a big issue for years to come. Because when all of this is going on, nothing. I hear nothing about reform. Do you remember how close they were trying to get something done with DACA and the whole 9 yards? And then you took away the urgency of getting it done because of court rulings and whatnot. Boom. Then all of a sudden, the kids were getting separated from the parents, and we had all this nightmare going on. And people were like, ooh, rah, 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 rabble-rousel, rabble-rousel. Trump is bad. He's a racist. He's a Nazi. These are concentration camps, blah, 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 blah. And then a week or two goes by and nothing. And that is the frustration of politics. The one thing I've said about Trump when it comes to certain things that he does inside the government policy-wise is I like the fact that he tries to push them for deadlines. Because as we all know, without a deadline, if you told a kid today, you've got a book report due, whenever you get it done, do you think most kids are going to do it that second? You might get one or two. But if you said, hey, class, you got a book report done at the end of the year. You got to get it done between now and whenever, actually. I don't care. But I can't start grading them until all of the book reports are turned in. How many of those kids would wait? Because there's no urgency. And that's what I find to be interesting with all of the immigration talk, with all of this crap and everything, and how fast they change their mind. Away they go. I'm over here. Yesterday I was there, and the kids, and the whole 9 yards, and all this stuff, and it's ridiculous, and blah, 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 and now I'm over here because Trump has done something else over here, and this is all gone. This is for naught now. And that's what drives us crazy. And that's what drives me crazy. I'd love to see immigration reform. Real, honest immigration reform. Based on facts, not feelings. Doesn't mean we can't have empathy. Let's be smart. We're not throwing these people out. But let's do it right. Let's button this thing up. And instead what we get is, oh, they forgot about it because they're on to something new, so we don't have to talk about it anymore. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Let me tell you about Dollar Shave Club, y'all. Boom! Woke up in the morning, took a shower. Shower gel, check. Shampoo, conditioner, check, check. For that, I shaved. Dr. Carver's shave butter, razor, check, check. Brushed my teeth, check and check. Both toothbrush and toothpaste. Hair gel, check. I'll be darned, Chad. That's a lot of stuff. It is. That's what Dollar Shave Club gets you. Everything you need to look, smell, and feel amazing. That's what they have. How would you like to join today? $5, free shipping. Boom. Give it a try. You're going to love it. Top shelf ingredients that won't break your budget. And here's a great way to try. You've thought about it before, but now you're like, yeah, I'm ready to pull the trigger. $5, you get their daily essential starter set, body cleanser, one wipe Charlie's, the world famous Dr. Carver shave butter, and yes, kids, the 6-blade executive razor, all for $5, ships directly to you. You don't have to go anywhere. Free shipping. Boom. Blow your mind right there. And while you're at it, I've been telling people this. The hair gel is amazing. The paste and all that stuff. Get something there. I don't know if you use paste or gel, whatever you use. Check out their stuff. You will not be disappointed. All their stuff is amazing, but I love their gel. I do. I absolutely love it. Check it out. Do it today. Join. $5, free shipping. DollarShaveClub.com/Chad. 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 At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It is the Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
I feel like I'm at a techno concert. So, Producer Phil, will you remind everybody what nature might do to you?
Chad, nature will mess you up.
Will mess you up.
She was literally covered from head to toe. Her face was completely covered with bees.
Firefighters say there was no time to put on protective gear.
They grabbed the first thing they could, which was a carbon dioxide extinguisher, sprayed the patient, tried to get as many bees as they could off her.
Authorities say the victim, believed to be in her early 50s, stung 200 times. 2 firefighters stung multiple times are in stable condition.
Yeah, those were the bad Africanized bees. The evil, killer, dreaded bees. Some people, like, I don't mind bees. I don't mind bees at all. Some people have this, just like with spiders, or something, like some people have an irrational fear of like, and they're, you know what, look, they're aggressive, right? Because they're protecting their stuff and whatnot. But 200 stings is a lot of stings. When you get attacked like that, and we forget that some people are allergic to stuff like that. So when you're a super attack like that, you could be in serious danger. And every year we hear about what? We hear about somebody who either gets stung and died, or their animals get stung and died because those bees just go on the attack and they're ready to roll.
And I felt so powerless, there was nothing I could do.
Cynthia Emmets lives next door. Her dog was also stung. Authorities say the bees, believed to be Africanized, had built a 10-pound hive. Experts say it's not clear what prompted the attack, but the hive had been there for about 6 months before anyone noticed.
She kept trying to cover her head with her hair, but then they started stinging her head. It was so horrendous. It was awful.
Nature, kids, will mess you up, is what I'm trying to say. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We're talking a lot today about the media and the craziness that surrounds Trump, and asking you the question out there. Do you think and believe that the media is honest? Do you trust the media? Some of you do, some of you don't. As for me, I'm a somewhat. And I don't say that like, oh, Chad, what do you mean you're... No, I'm somewhat. Somewhat I believe in the media. 11% of you say you trust the media. 27% say I somewhat trust the media. But together, 62% of you say I don't trust the media or it's all fake news. The way I look at the media, and I think the way that you need to look at the media is you believe what you want to believe. Right? You believe what you want to believe. So anymore, we don't have that balanced media where you go and you find somebody giving all sides of a story. I like to think that we do a pretty good job here of that, right? That we're going to give you all sides of the story. If Trump does something bad, I'll say Trump does something bad. If Trump does something good, I'll say Trump does something good, right? If a white cop shoots a black guy for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to tell you that. And if people overblow an incident that really shouldn't have been overblown, but they wanted to turn it in some, I'm going to tell you that. But a lot of places are going to give you only one side of the story. So what you have to do is you have to puzzle fit things together. And I think with Trump's naysayers, and there's far more naysayers than there in the media than there are people who are positive about Trump. And you shouldn't be positive or negative. You should be just nothing. But that's the way the world works. So when I look at media, I tell everybody the way I look at it, whether it's news or whatever it is that I'm doing, is I have to search. I want to find all of the answers. People will send me stuff. Yesterday, somebody's yelling at me what a horrible human being I am. And they said, look at this. And they send me something from Mother Jones. I know the minute you send me something from Mother Jones, it's skewed to one side. You're not giving the entire picture of something. So what do you think? You can text 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Do you trust the media? Yeah, no, maybe. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
In my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't or why it wouldn't be Russia. So just to repeat it, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. And the sentence should have been, and I thought I would be maybe a little bit unclear on the transcript or unclear on the actual video. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia.
Epic fail. Just ignore it. That's it. Just come out and say, look, I believe in my intelligence agency. He told me something to my face. You know, he was strong about it, but I believe. We know that they did it. But at some point in time, just go, and you move on, right? Because we know tomorrow there's going to be something new. But when you stand here, and see here, this is a little different than the it's immigration or it's taxes or it's health care. It's what he said about this. It's what he said about that. Because Russia is what the people on the left see as the reason he is here. They believe, and I talked to somebody yesterday who told me, of course it had a huge influence because Trump supporters are stupid and they bought into everything that these people were saying. And I said, so your side, if you will, has all the smart people and the other side has all the stupid people. Well, I don't mean it like that. No, it didn't have the effect that a lot of people think it did. Could it have influenced a few? It might have. But I doubt it because we knew exactly who was on the ballot. If they were people we had no idea about at all, it probably could have influenced a lot of people. But everybody already had preconceived ideas about who they were going to vote for because they were known to us. People knew who Hillary Clinton was. The same people that didn't like Hillary before she ran for president didn't all of a sudden fall in love with Hillary when she said she was going to run and then were fooled by a meme. We forget that. There was a known factor for all of us when it comes to these people. So it is what it is, right? But this is something a little bit different than, tomorrow we're going to forget about, because we will forget about this moment in time when it comes to this. But the Russia thing is always going to hang over him, no matter what happens. No matter what happens. Remember, Benghazi hung over Hillary forever and a day. Still did. They still do investigations. They still talk about it. I'm telling you guys this. Let's just say that Mueller comes back. It's September, October, whenever, November 15th, right before Thanksgiving, comes out and says, we are going to conclude this and that we found nothing that leads to the President of the United States, although there were some things that were questionable. The reality is that he played no significant role and they played no significant role with one another that led to his presidency. Let's say all this happens, right? We move on from there. But in November time, the Democrats have taken back the House, potentially, probably not. The Senate, maybe. Even if he says that, you don't think there's not going to be investigations throughout? Of course there is. Of course there is. And if he wins another election, there will continue to be this cloud hanging over his head. So while this will fade away in this meeting and the whole 9 yards, the reality is that the Russia side of things, when it comes to Trump, will never fade away. It's here. It's not going anywhere, period. This is it. It will always stick with him. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So the left is moving leftier, right? I think we know that. And one of the big things they're doing is it's all about ICE, right? Like that's the big new thing is let's abolish ICE. Let's get rid of ICE. ICE is a rogue element inside of our government. It does what it wants when it wants. You know what? I was talking to somebody who is very much who says there's no way the FBI could be rogue at all times. And I said, but you believe ICE is rogue. And she kind of looked at me perplexed. So they can have everybody there in the FBI is upstanding 100%, could never be rogue, could never do anything, but ICE is rogue. It's like, well, that's not what I mean. I'm like, okay. I see. But it's the political thing now. It's the cool thing to be is let's dump ICE.
Democrat politicians have called for the complete elimination of ICE.
I don't think ICE today is working as intended. I think we need to abolish ICE.
We should abolish ICE.
It's really just this extra militarization of an agency that is doing what we know is unacceptable.
I believe that it has become a deportation force.
A vote for the Democrats in November is a vote to let MS-13 run wild in our community.
We should protect families that need our help, and that is not what ICE is doing today. I believe you should get rid of it, start over, reimagine it.
Democrats want anarchy.
No, it's just a good talking point. But more and more saying it. The Elizabeth Warrens, the Ocasio-Cortez, who, by the way, for all the screaming and hollering, she's not won anything yet. She's going to. I think we realize that. But, Kristen, you're getting a lot of people coming out and saying, look, let's get rid of ICE. Let's dump ICE. That's their mantra. And to me, I look at this and I think, wow. It's like the crisis there is getting real in the Democratic Party from the standpoint of they're fighting themselves. Biden has come out and said, slow down, right? Even Biden's come out and slowed down. Lieberman, slow down, even though I know he's independent now, but at one time he was, a Democrat. And there, a lot of people are looking at this who are establishment, who've been around for a while and are worried because when you move that fast and you look to be that radical, it scares voters. And it's okay because in your district, you may have a very progressive left-leaning district and you're fine with that. The problem is you're going to go somewhere and represent people and those radical ideas are going to come with you, which scares a lot of other people. And I think for the Republicans, I would keep pushing them left, right? Keep pushing them because what you're getting is infighting. Go left, go left. Just like if I'm the Democrats, I'm trying to push certain people further right because it benefits you. And a lot of times, man, the more that you give the space to let them talk, the further away they get, the more disconnected as a whole from the people they feel. But the whole thought process of abolishing ICE, because it's rogue. And I said, look, if you want to abolish ICE, you're going to have to replace it with something. Because A, we know it's government, and they're never going to get rid of something and not have something in its place, right? Because they got to spend that money. And B, there's not going to be something that they could look at and say is just as evil. It's not going to be it's not going to be nice. It's going to be something else. So you better figure out what it is that you want. Because when I talk to people, it's a great talking point that they like, and people cheer. But like everything else, what are you going to put in this place? And don't say nothing, because that's not the reality of the world we live in. Something's coming in there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We've got a Twitter poll up today. Do you trust the media at all in any way, shape, or form? A good majority of you do not trust the media. I somewhat trust the media. Am I over the moon with the media? No. 11% say I trust the media. 27% say I somewhat trust the media. 48% of you say I do not trust the media. 14% of you fake news. Take the poll at Chad Benson Show. Oh, man, cryptocurrencies. You need to get some of these, right? You need to grab some of these. They're amazing. You just need to learn about them. Tiki Tuarif from the Palm Beach Letters put together an amazing course for my listeners that are going to teach you the ins and the outs, the ups and the downs on how this actually works, and you're going to absolutely love it. He's a former Wall Street guy, a hedge fund guy. If you want to know about this, if you're looking at taking your investments to the next level, this is the future of investments. It's not going anywhere. It's not a flash in the pan, not a fly by night. Get in while the getting is good, and the getting is good right now, but first educate yourself. And you can do that with this amazing course. Go there right now. AmazingCryptoClass.com. AmazingCryptoClass.com. You're going to learn something, and hopefully you're going to learn and earn. But first, get into education on how they work, how you buy them, where you can spend them, all of those things. This course will teach you. AmazingCryptoClass.com. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. Take the poll question. How much do you trust the media? You can take it at Chad Benson Show or Facebook as well. So Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to Chad. No, not the country. The institution. The Chad Benson Show.
So think about this last night. All-Star games going on. You've been around the festivities since Monday morning, the home run derby, all of that stuff. You're having a great time. You're 24 years young. Life looks amazing. Then the game starts. Things are going well. Then you get up in the bullpen and you start warming up. You get your family around. Everything is great. The call comes in. You're going in. You're having an amazing year, and you're going to pitch in the All-Star game at 24 years young. Doesn't go as well as planned, right? But still, it's an All-Star game. There's nothing riding on it. It's fun. But during your quick outing at the All-Star game, things surface as you go out to the mound. That at 17, you sent some horrible tweets. Not just little tweets that are like this, that, and the other, quoting something or something that was meant to be joke. You sent some tweets to the point where your family's in the stands and they have your jersey on and your hat on, and Major League Baseball comes over to you and makes you change out of them and gives you just all-star gear because they're worried you're going to get attacked out there. Now, what did this young pitcher say? Well, Josh Hader is 24. He's now a Brewer, having an amazing year for them. When he was 17, he sent some tweets out that included KKK in one of his tweets. The N-word, not with a rap lyric, maybe with the A at the end, but with the ER on more than a few occasions, and tweets about how much he just hates gays. Now, he's come out and do the obligatory kind of baloney that comes with this kind of stuff.
There's no excuse for what was said, and I'm deeply sorry for what I've said and what's been going on. And like I said, that doesn't reflect any of my beliefs going on now.
Now, I don't know what his beliefs are now, but I will tell you this. This wasn't a rap song, right? Didn't want a rap song. The stuff I saw last night, his tweets, were awful. And the KKK tweet, you weren't joking around, I don't think, the way that you want to make it seem like you were joking around. And the rap thing, and we've talked about this on the show, is should you, as a white kid who buys a hip-hop album and the N-word is used profusely through it, but you like the music, and should you be allowed to sing it? I always say, you know what? If you're going to market it to everybody, you're going to have to deal with that, right? If you want the money, you're going to have to deal with it. Right or wrong, it is what it is. But you also shouldn't tweet out even that stuff. But this wasn't a rap song, and that's where the thing goes to all the time.
I'm sure there's some rap lyrics being tweeted. I really don't know exactly what's all out there.
Now, he has a teammate who's also at the All-Star game, who happens to be black. Lorenzo Cain. I don't know if he saw any of this stuff. Remember, you're out playing the game. You don't know what's going on. All of this stuff's happening. You probably don't even remember that you sent those things 7 years ago. Or maybe you do. And maybe you could have addressed it earlier, which is what he should have done had he remembered. So they bombard, the players with it. And Lorenzo Cain, his teammate, who also happens to be black.
Talked a little bit. I just was trying to understand the situation. He said he was young. We all say some crazy stuff when we're young. That's one reason why I don't have social media, because, for things like this, you always get in trouble for, things you said when you're younger. So, like I said, we'll move on from it. Situation is what it is. I know Hader. He's a great guy. And, like I said, I know he's a great teammate. So, like I said, I'm fine. Everybody will be okay. We'll move on from this for sure.
And this is something that can fracture inside of a locker room. I've seen the tweets, and again, don't know too many rap songs, but I know that the GER and the GA are totally different, and it is an interesting thing to go into. But then I also question is, who waits? Because that you're motivated by something as well, right? That you have these. And then you wait until he goes to the mound before you release them. There's also some motivation there. Now, Major League Baseball came out today and said, you know what? You're going to have to go to sensitivity training. Which, this happened when he was 17. I don't know what he's like. I don't know what's in his heart. I don't know if he had an issue. I don't know any of these things. I don't know what his mom and dad are like, any of this stuff. But I'll tell you what, that stuff, I'm surprised they're only just making him go there. But what can you do if this happened before? Are we going to retroactively punish him? Interesting. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Trump hysteria continuing to go on. Traitor! Settle down. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Interesting to say the least. It was a nightmare. People enjoying a concert. Route 91, Las Vegas, Nevada. Everybody having fun. The final act on stage, Jason Aldean doing his thing when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, shots ring down. Concert goers die. It becomes one of the most infamous days in recent memory, maybe in all memory, of what has taken place here in America, especially when it comes to shootings. And then you knew stuff was going to happen. But this is something I don't think people realize was going to happen, because MGM has decided to take the lead on this and sue 1,000 people who potentially could sue them.
This is the litigation version of the maxim, the best defense is a good offense. At the risk of a tsunami of bad press resulting from a casino suing the victims of a mass shooting, Mandalay Bay wants to argue in their chosen venue, federal court, that they have no liability because they made no mistakes when it came to concert security.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. So, they're and this is, a very interesting tactic that they're going to go straight out and they're going to come head on and try to get in front of it in a way where they're going to put people on the defense immediately. Understand that we live in a world that's very litigious, right? You go outside, you trip and fall, you sue everybody around you. Why didn't you catch me? Why didn't this? You break into somebody's house, you cut your arm, you sue the homeowner. All of this wackiness that we talk about in this day and age. I understand the CYA in yourself. And remember, when you sue, people got to get defense attorneys. That costs money. And a lot of people saying you're adding insult to injury, but it is a lawsuit that they feel that they must do.
It sounds like the world's worst PR move, a casino suing shooting victims. But there's a method to Mandalay Bay's madness. Most of the damage claims are already in court. This filing tries to assure the dispute will be handled in a coordinated federal court action, as opposed to dealing with scores of state court suits.
So it's not as bad as people think, but it's still bad. Essentially, they want it to be handled in one simple way. They knew they were going to have to pay out on this. They knew they did because we sue. That's what we do. We sue everybody that was involved in something because we've become such a litigious society that's how we settle. It doesn't matter. Laws, you name it. We settle everything in court. And, the people that were injured, you go to a concert. And just like if you go to an amusement park or if you go to any of these things, what's it say in the back of the ticket? Right? Well, Chad, nobody expected. No, nobody expects anything. Nobody expects anything. Nobody does. Nobody expects anything bad to happen. Do you think that they wanted this to happen? Hell no. Do I think this isn't being explained probably in the proper way? Yes. But we always want somebody to pay, and I understand that. Somebody does something, we want to hold everybody we possibly can accountable for those actions. And for a lot of these people, they've got medical bills. Their lives have been changed forever on that horrible night.
I don't feel like we were kept safe. If MGM owns Mandalay and Mandalay owns that property where the concert was at, and guns were brought into your hotel. No one knew where to go. No one knew where to run. No one knew where exits were at.
And that's what it is. Nobody knew where anything was. They weren't kept safe. And this is going to be, if you go to Coachella now, you twist your ankle. They've got insurance for this. Insurance is paying for this. They're all going to be battling this thing out in court. And what they don't want is the piecemeal of 1,000 lawsuits here and 500 lawsuits here, and one by one you got to put them all together. And you didn't have the exits marked correctly. And even if you were, not everybody could see them. And this will change the way, as many of these things do. What this ends up doing is it changes the way that we go to concert venues now. It changes the way that we do all of these things. 9/11 happened, and it changed the way that we get on airplanes, right? This happened, and it changes the way that people go and see concerts. Because it's expensive to put these things on. Do they make a lot of money? Yeah. But it costs a lot of money, and the risk is tremendous.
This was not a terrorist attack. This was negligence on behalf of MGM. They're trying to hide behind the Safety Act.
I'm trying to find out what their negligence was. What was their negligence? They didn't give him the bullets, right? Well, they didn't check on him. You're going to look for everything. You are. You're going to look for everything you possibly can. I don't know if this is a negligent. I have a hard time blaming MGM for this. Because the personal responsibility comes down to an evil individual who had so much pain and anger or darkness in his heart, and he decided he was going to hurt a bunch of people and kill a bunch of people before he died himself, because that's the way he thought he should do this. But everybody wants to find somebody that they can blame. And they can't get that guy because he's dead now. He's gone. Right? So it's MGM's fault. And I find it hard. I mean, to me, I look at this and say, how do we blame them? What was their role? Well, they didn't check the hotel room. They should have known what was in there. They should have had metal detectors. They should have all of these things. And so now when we go to hotels, it's you can no longer do this, and you can no longer do that, and we're gonna safety check you and do all of these things. And who knows? Maybe we'll have metal detectors, and Vegas won't be what Vegas once was. And that is a tough thing. But we've seen it in the past, and I think it's coming again. That this is going to change a lot of stuff. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Got a poll question today. It's about the media. Do you trust the media? Do you? Do you trust the media? Because I think some people do and some people don't. What is your trust in the media, if you have any trust at all? Right now, most of you, 10% say I trust the media. 27% say I somewhat trust the media. I somewhat trust the media because I think for all intents and purposes, a lot of times the media gives you a good portion of the truth. Now, they will take things out of context because it's, remember, when we're looking at the media anymore, we're no longer looking at news organizations that are there to give you the facts, the figures, and they move on. They're not there to deliver the data and this is it. And we're moving on because that doesn't work anymore, right? To catch eyeballs, to get viewers, to get clicks, to get all that stuff, there has to be some meat. You have to sell that sizzle. So what we've done now is we have a la carte media and news organizations who will deliver specifically what you want. You want affirmation and confirmation of your beliefs. So you're going to go there without ever checking the other side. And a lot of times what they're delivering you is some portion of the truth. They're not delivering all of the truth. There's another side to the story that you don't always get. So that's why I say I believe somewhat in the media. They'll tell you a side, not both sides. And there is usually both sides in stories. What do you think? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Trump again today, trying to dig out of his mess, and I just didn't think he did a good job. And I feel, I got to be honest with you, I look at poor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and today they asked, do you think that they're still spying on us? And apparently he said no, but then he misspoke again, and you're just like, and it's a frustrating thing because, and I've talked about this before. With the Republicans, their frustration comes, like the Democrats are seeing now with Ocasio-Cortez and a lot of these other people, that they're going out and saying a bunch of things, and then they're having to try and justify what they're saying. And it's the same thing for the Republicans. When Trump goes out and says something, they then have to talk about what he says and in some ways either justify it or go against it. And it gets frustrating because you may have things that you want to talk about, but you're not talking about it because Trump and this entire thing that surrounds him sucks all the air out of the building. It does.
I think, he understands he made a mistake and a big one. And hopefully it was a learning experience.
That's Bob Corker right there. I think it was a learning experience. I do. But how much of an experience is he going to take from this? That is the big question. But the last 2.5, 3 days, it was in the run-up to it, it was answering questions about, is he going to do the right thing? Is he going to confront him? And then the last day and a half, it's been, isn't he embarrassment? Is he a traitor? Is he treasonous? Should he be impeached? Crap like that. And you're answering questions that you would rather not be answering. And that's the frustration I think I feel that I feel with a lot of these politicians, some of which I talked to. And they said, look, the frustration, it's you can feel it every time. I've got to answer yet another question, and it gets just it's awful because they don't want to. They don't. You watch sports. Athletes are the same way, right? You see these athletes. They take it in a much different direction, but you go in and you've got to answer questions about like what the Milwaukee Brewers are going to have to do, right? You've got this guy who has said some things, tweeted some things, and now for the next umpteen days, it's not going to be about how good you play. It's not going to be about, your performance. It's not going to be about the team. It's going to be about that guy. And after a while, you're just like, I'm over talking about that situation. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. My pillow is amazing. I slept so well last night. I was out like a light. You will be too. And so will your partner. Right now, they got a little BOGO going on. Buy one, get one. That is amazing. My pillow is incredible. You're going to sleep like you've never slept before. And because of that, you're going to be more productive. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better. Now is the time to grab yourself a My Pillow. Here's what you get. First and foremost, the most incredible pillow around. Absolutely has changed the way I sleep. And I said earlier, my son fell asleep I don't know what time on Saturday night. Him and his mom went to a drive-in. He got home. He fell asleep. He slept about 11 and a half hours. Fell asleep about 10:30, woke up next day about 9:45. He was out like a light. 100% machine washable and dryable, made in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. My Pillow is incredible. Now is your chance to grab one. Buy one, get one. Use the promo code Benson. Call 800-944-4975 or go to mypillow.com and use the promo code Benson. That is BENSON. 100% machine washable and dryable. You know how easy that is? That's so easy. You're done. You throw it in there, wash it, dry it, boom, back the way it goes. You're going to love it. Call 800-944-4975. Go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Benson, BENSON. Buy one, get one free. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Little say what? Straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
You call it ridiculous. We call it reality with a twist. Say what?
What a twist, baby! Say what? I try to get a massage once a month. I get a stretching massage because my body gets tense. I don't know why. It's always been that way. But this, as much as I love reptiles, I'm not doing this because it's just stupid. Say what?
Boa constrictors, some longer than 6 feet, slither all over Pam Kelly's body. We witnessed her first snake massage with Serpentessa at Dreaming Goddess in Poughkeepsie.
How are you feeling? Nervous.
Serpentessa shows her 4 snakes intertwined, all possible participants.
Enjoy them and feel them on you.
Okay. Enjoy them, feel them on you. Why? They're just going to kind of somewhat slither around. They're not going to do anything. I guess it could be tranquil with the music. But really, people, it just shows you that people will pay for anything. People will pay for anything whatsoever. Hey, goat yoga sounds great. Cat yoga sounds great. Right? If we think, hey, whatever we can do that could be hipster and neat, let's do it. And people are like, that's great. Here's my money.
Serpentessa guides 3 snakes onto Pam. She can't force them to do anything. Each serpent chooses its own path, gliding over her, wrapping around her feet, her head, even resting on her neck.
They tone and stimulate the vagus nerve, and that releases endorphins and oxytocin, the feel-good hormones.
She can't tell them anything because in their union contract, because they're probably unionized, so there's no way. Serpentessa.
Chad?
Good God. Yeah?
Would that be the union of the snake?
Oh, look at you. A little Duran Duran right there. I like that. Union of the snake. No, they're not going to do anything. She's going to be walking around the table, putting them back on you the entire time. Boas. Oh, my God. How about a feather boa massage? Snakes don't have feathers. I know. Good God. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We were just talking about MGM and get tweeted at. Briefly heard part of your pro-MGM rant. It's not a pro-MGM rant. It's not. No negligence with the video of taking bag after bag of weapons to his room. None. Also, to how did MGM respond after the gunshots? They covered up. Did they cover up? How did they cover up? What did they do? And by the way, how did you know what was in those bags? Do you go through people's bags? Because I think that's illegal. I'm just curious. For high rollers, for them to come stay a week or 2 in Vegas, not a big deal. Take your stuff up. They don't look at everything. They don't go through everything. But this is the thing that, what happens in this day and age. And by the way, the lawsuit is just trying to get all of the lawsuits in one so they don't have to fight individual lawsuits along the way. But if you were a business owner, you're CYAing yourself. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We got a poll up. Do you trust the media? Only 10% of you do. Not a shocker. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but didn't.
In my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't or why it wouldn't be Russia. So, just to repeat it, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. And the sentence should have been, and I thought I would be maybe a little bit unclear on the transcript or unclear on the actual video. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia.
Yeah, and now, the memes and what did Richard Marx say last night? I won't be waiting for you.
It wouldn't be waiting for you.
Wouldn't be waiting for you. It's just, it's, you just step back. And I'm looking at poor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Can I just ask you a question? Is there a more thankless job right now than Sarah Huckabee Sanders' job? Is there? Is there another job out there where you could think, I don't know if I want that. That's a horrible job. Seems like a bad job. Now, I know people are going to, lion tamer, this, that, and the other. I'm just, let's be real. Like, in politics, all right, let's just limit it to politics. Can you find another job where you're like, that's just, because she knows she's got to go out there every day and answer all kinds of questions every day about her boss and try to spin stuff. And the whole wouldn't thing, I mean, in life, as a person who speaks for a living, there's times where I wish I would have said that. I should have said it. I meant it like this. I get that. But you goofed on this one. You screwed up. And the would or wouldn't say, take all of that away, the entire situation, you still got an F. All right? Now, the hysteria around it, that's on everybody else. But you still drop the ball. But I just look at poor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I think, is it worth that $2 billion? Right? The stress that goes on with it, is it worth it? Just, I'm just asking. And there is, look, the hysteria around Trump is insane, right? From the Bill Maher's.
I just want to ask the Trump voters, I know you're out there, I know some of you watch me. What is left for you? He's plainly a traitor who doesn't defend his own country.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think he's a traitor. All right? I don't think. But, and here's something else. He's also not a politician. Let's also remember that. But yeah, I mean, he screwed it up the other day. I get that. The hysteria around it.
It seems to me that Russia's got something on him because, he's over the edge with this one. He's saying basically to him, please don't snitch. Whatever it is what I saw.
Well, snitches get stitches. So let's just also remember that for a second. But it is funny to watch all of this stuff. People are, hey, can he be impeached because of all of these things?
The constitutional standard for impeachment is treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors. And so the question is, was what he did treason? And treason is actually defined in the Constitution. It's a rare offense in that way. It's actually defined, and the definition refers to aiding enemies. And so the question is Russia our enemy?
There's a question. They brought somebody on because, is this impeachable? Huh? Is this? We're looking for something. Is this impeachable? They're doing the Capone is the best way to describe it. They're doing the Capone. Well, we can't get him on this, and we can't get him on that. RICO's not invented, so we can't get him on this. So what are we going to get him on? I got a great idea. We'll get him on tax evasion. Yeah, because we're going to get him on something. So now it's like, is this, like, okay, hold on. So that thing he did wasn't impeachable? Yeah. The other day, the press conference, all that stuff, was that impeachable?
And the answer is it may be an adversary, it may be a foe, it may even be a competitor, as the president said, but it's not an enemy. We are not at war with Russia. So technically, no, there was no treason.
Oh, God, we were so close. We were so close to that Pence presidency that we're all waiting for. So funny. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet to us. Love it when you do. You can also text the program as well. Obama Speaking about Nelson Mandela, would have been his 100th birthday, and he's out there and about. People are probably going, "You think you should be wearing?" It's like, after every president leaves, we always think that the president should all wear a shirt, like when Obama came in, people like Bush is, "Wow, you miss me yet?" shirt. And it's the same thing with Obama. You miss me yet? Right? You miss me yet? For a lot of you out there, no, you couldn't go fast enough. For a lot of people out there, even in the middle, it's like, well, I'm glad there's not with you, we didn't get any of the craziness like this and the hysteria, but whatever. I mean, how much does it play into your life? Any of this stuff. It's fun to listen to, right? But, you're still not going, I'm not going to work today because Trump said he should have said would or wouldn't and can't and shouldn't and could have and if onlys and
A democracy demands we're able also to get inside the reality of people who are different than us so we can understand their point of view. Maybe we can change their minds, but maybe they'll change ours.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's right. I think that's really right. That's the beauty of it. I always hear people say, this is a changing, the electorate changing. You look around here and over here, it's this, and it's going from red to blue or blue to red and this, that, and the other. And I always laugh because a lot of times has nothing to do with people changing each other's minds or them getting just over and displeased with the government that's in front. A lot of times it's the demographics change. Some people move out. Some people move in. They change the demographics of the entire thing. And it goes from being red to blue or blue to red and has nothing to do with changing anybody's minds because we're so close-minded anymore. We're not going to listen to what anybody has to say.
And you can't do this if you just out of hand disregard what your opponents have to say from the start. And you can't do it if you insist that those who aren't like you, because they're white or because they're male, that somehow there's no way they can understand what I'm feeling, that somehow they lack standing to speak on certain matters.
That's true. God, he still gives a damn good speech. I don't care what anybody says. Right or left, he gives a good speech, right? He delivers a hell of a speech. That he does do. Do you think they put a little extra reverb on him always? I always feel like they throw a little reverb on him, like a little, just a little something. But he's out there, and people are also now starting to do the same thing. Every time he speaks, and I see this with the media, every time he speaks, they like to chop up some of the stuff he says and says, oh, that was meant for Trump. Or that was meant for... Maybe sometimes you're just giving a speech about stuff. Not everything's meant for something. But because they're looking to manufacture all kinds of things because it's great to do. Right? We love conflict. That's what reality TV is. Reality TV is 30 or 60 minutes of conflict. There's always got to be drama. Quick, camera pans fast, and then right in on somebody's face. There always has to be something like that. That's what they're always looking for. We want that drama. So if we can't get it naturally, we'll manufacture it. So if he says something, he's in Africa, and he's talking about strong-arm dictators, which there are plenty of in Africa, we're like, oh, that's meant for Trump. Because you're looking to manufacture. That's what you're looking to do. That's what you're looking to do. Because that's part of the narrative and the entertainment value. When Trump first ran, I always tell everybody, you know what? In this world, in this day and age, this is what people care about when you're looking at certain situations. People don't care about right or wrong. They care about interesting. If you're right and boring, nobody cares. If you're wrong and boring, nobody cares. If you're interesting, we can forgive you both being right and wrong. And that's the one thing Trump is. He's interesting. That's where all the hysteria comes from. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. You can text the program as well. Like us on Facebook, Chad Benson Show. So you're out there. You have a company and you want to start growing it because you're seeing all these orders coming in, but you need to add to your staff and you're saying, I can't find the right person. Now you can. With ZipRecruiter. It is incredible. ZipRecruiter is amazing. 100+ job sites immediately once you post it, away you go, right? That's just the start of things. But then they go to work for you. They connect you with the right candidate. And that's something that's great. They're gonna do the hard work. Then it's up to you to go out and do the other stuff. You don't know about juggling phone calls and crazy emails, any of that stuff. They've got this great interactive page you use, and boom, you're able to pick the right candidate. And that's what makes ZipRecruiter so much different than all of those other just fly-by-night things that just don't work. Here's the thing. I don't care if you're a Fortune 100 person that's listening to this or you're a mom and pop shop, or you're a small, medium-sized business. ZipRecruiter is going to help you find that right candidate so you can quickly screen that candidate, hire them, get them out there, making money for you and making money for themselves. Now, here's what they're doing with my listeners. ZipRecruiter is saying, hey, Chad, tell your listeners they can post your job for free. I said free. Free doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is go to ZipRecruiter.com/report. 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 Who knows, within the next 24 hours, you could have that perfect candidate that becomes the perfect hire that helps your business grow that much more. ZipRecruiter.com/report. Post your job for free today. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Feel free to punk this punk rocker any time of the day or night. Reach Chad on Twitter at Chad Benson Show and on Instagram at Chad Benson Show. And oh yeah, the Chad Benson Show on Facebook too. Punk that.
Looking healthy and happy, the young men between the ages of 11 to 16 plus their 25-year-old soccer coach left the hospital for the first time and entered the press conference wearing their soccer uniforms. Each carried a soccer ball, which they took turns kicking around playfully as doctors pronounced them healthy and mentally fit to go home.
So there they go. They're out. All of it is now behind them. You know, the excitement of what's going to become, because, you know, movie and stuff are going to come out of this. They spoke and they talked about that moment they realized,
One by one, starting with their coach, they introduced themselves to the waiting media. The boys describing that terrifying moment they realized they were trapped all the way into that cave. They say when they tried to make their way back, they faced a sea of water. Even though they all say they're able to swim, their one way back was blocked.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of even though they say that, I'm not buying the fact they can swim or not. No, I think they could probably swim, but I think that the rush of water that was coming in was probably ferocious. They watched the World Cup finals. But a question I've seen a lot of people ask is, well, how much weight did you guys lose? Because you were in there for a while before they got you food after they located you.
Boys lost on average 9 pounds in the cave, but each has gained roughly 6 pounds back. Half the boys announcing they want to be Navy SEALs when they grow up. The other half, professional soccer players. They all apologize to their parents for ever going to the cave in the first place.
I want to see what happens with the coach now. They've forgiven him, but they haven't forgiven him. You know, some of the nation has. What do the parents do? How does he forgive himself in a country where personal pride and stuff is very important, and some of the utmost important things? How does he, if he does ever forgive himself in a situation like this? But at the end, it worked out. It did. Now, speaking of the Navy SEALs, we with the Elon Musk thing is riling its head back up. And it's another one of those, why would you say something like this?
Had absolutely no chance of.
By the way, this is not Elon Musk. This is the guy who Elon said something about. His name is Unsworth, his last name is, and he is a guy who essentially told Elon Musk, who had offered up his super submarine, his mini sub, to go get these kids. And he comes out and he says this.
Had absolutely no chance of working. He had no conception of what the cave passage was like. The submarine, I believe, was about 5'6" long, rigid, so it wouldn't have gone round corners or round any obstacles. It wouldn't have made the first 50 metres into the cave from the dive start point. Just a PR stunt, and stick his submarine where it hurts.
Which I thought was funny, right? And of course, then Elon come out and called him basically a pedo. Says, you're a pedo, you're a pedophile, and then doubled back down on it and bet people $1. And he was walking on the street, and this was a reaction when somebody asked Vern Unsworth about a certain situation with Elon Musk.
I'm not going to make any further comment about him, but I think people realise what sort of guy he is.
Would you consider taking legal action against him?
Yes. It's not finished.
Ooh, absolutely. Would you consider taking legal action? Of course. If Elon Musk came out today and said something horrific about me like that, you bet your candy ass I'm going to sue him. Right? Wouldn't you? If somebody said something like that? Hell yeah. I want to see what that settlement looks like. And no, I don't want one of your stupid electric cars. I want a real car. Chad. Teslas are great. I know they are. I'm just saying. Don't offer me that. I don't want 5 of your electric cars. I don't want any of that. I'm sorry. I want cold, hard cash. I'm going to buy something that runs on gasoline. You're a jerk, Chad. You hate the environment. Probably. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chicago, the windy cities. Blowing some more wind. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
If you're a conservative, apparently, according to a brand new study, you believe your lives are more meaningful than that of liberals. Not that you think their lives are unmeaningful. We're just talking about your life because people can spin it any way they want. But this is a hilarious new study. It comes from the University of California, and it's a big study. It's not just like 3 or 4 people. And it's answering that age-old conundrum, about what is the meaning of life. They did the survey across 16 countries. And they say those with liberal beliefs are more likely to be in perpetual state of searching for the meaning of their life than their right-wing counterparts. That's kind of interesting. It's all live in the moment thing, right? What is the meaning of life? I've never been one of those people that have thought, what is the meaning of life? I don't know about you. I've never just thought, what is it? Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? I think the meaning of life for me is just live your life. Do the best you can, right? Try to leave life and the life that you live and the people around you, and the world that we live in a little bit better than when you got here. And that's it. And then you just move on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Earlier, we've been talking off and on today about the media. And I just said, you know what? I just put a poll question up. It's a pretty simple poll question. Is how much do you trust the media? Do you really trust the media? Is it only the media you want to, Right now, 20% say I trust the media. 27% say I somewhat trust them. 33% say I don't trust the media at all. 20% say fake news. Take the poll at Chad Benson Show. You can tweet at me. You can text the program as well. So another city is making a run at universal income. They're doing it. And this time, it's not a small city. It's a big city. It's Chi-Town. It's the Windy City. It's Chicago.
Chicago could soon test a universal income program. A city alderman there proposing a bill that would provide 1,000 families with a $500 check every month. No questions asked. A majority of city lawmakers have already signed onto the bill and are hoping to work with the mayor to launch the program.
I don't... Look, $500, $1,000 free dollars, it all sounds great, right? Here's $1,000 free bucks. And with the amount of money, I will say this, with the amount of money that we waste, if you want to cut from other places, and while it's only Chicago or Stockton or a few other places, the reality is these are testing areas. These are testing grounds for bigger things. This is. Countries have tried this, and they've said, yeah, we tried. Finland, they just bounced from theirs. You know, Sweden's tried it. Norway's tried it. Denmark's tried it. It doesn't seem, other places have tried it, you know, little areas, cities inside of, you know, and it doesn't seem to be the thing. And to me, it goes back to, we're paying people to do what? To just be? And I'm sure they're not giving it. If you're going to do a real segment of society, then I would say, look, if we're going to try this, let's try it with 1,000 people. And we're going to try it with everybody. It's not going to be, we're just going to give it to the poor. We're going to give it to the rich. We're going to give it to the middle class. We're going to give it to the poor. We're going to hand it out we're going to give it to everybody. And we're going to then step back and we're going to do a real look at this and see if it had any effect anywhere. Did it help somebody go from poverty to middle class? Did the people that were upper middle class, rich, or middle class, did they take that money and do something with it? Were investments, this, that, and the other, and that helped them? And they're the ones who really took advantage of it? Because I think that's the only way you do it. But this is going to become something you're going to hear more and more. When you have the Ocasio-Cortezes out there and the Bernie Sanders of the world and many, many more coming behind, this is going to be something that is going to be talked about more and more and more and more, especially as we become more automated. And people are going to be asked out of jobs in a lot of areas. People are going to be looking around. And some people will pivot. It's no big deal. They pivot. They do something new. Other people are going to freeze. And so this is making up for that disparity they think that's so massive, that gap that's so huge that's out there. I'm not saying there's not a gap, but we look at the gap as money. You know what I look at the gap as? Knowledge and belief. That's where the gap really is.
But we're going to have to worry about economics if we want to get democracy back on track. New ways of thinking about these problems, like a universal income.
A universal income. And you're going to hear more and more and more and more and more and more about it. And when we're paying people for nothing, what do we expect to get out of that? That, to me, is the question. And if you're going to do a real test, I'm fine with the real test. Let's do a real test, but let's do a real test with picking an area and a city that has all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life, and let's get a real sample size, not just give it to a particular group and see what takes place. And here's my thing. I think people who want to do this would be terrified to find out what would happen probably out of that sample. They'd have excuses. These people are trying to live. It's not fair. And once again, that gap that we see has very little to do with money and all to do with knowledge and understanding. And until we start saying, hey, you know what? We're going to start passing out some of this, you're going to be in the same situation over and over and over again.
Anytime that you decouple income from work, it's a bad idea. You leave people undervalued, unproductive. You incentivize them to marry the state, and that you leave them with an incentive to become socioeconomic supplicants. And people have an intrinsic value in themselves and a need to work.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you got paid to do nothing, seems great, right? It does. And I've had a couple friends in businesses I've worked in where they've had non-competes, and they, inside of their contracts, they were paid to stay home. And they're like, it seems exciting for a week or two, but then you start to get down on yourself. And they're getting paid really well. We're just, and this, again, this is one of those things where you have a value in who you are as a human being. And if your value is give me some money for free, this will help me raise who I am, and you get the knowledge with it maybe to do something, then again, we think about, let's look at all sides. I got no problem with it. But if you continue to go to do the same thing over and over again, it failed over here, so let's try it here. It failed over here. Let me tell you why they don't want to do a wide swath of society where there's rich and upper middle class and poverty level, and we give it all and take a real snapshot and a sample size, because some people are going to be smart with their money and other people aren't. They're going to look at it as free money, and their value is it's free. I can do whatever the hell I want with it, which is fine because it's no strings attached. You do what you want with it. But some people will turn that free money into more money and have it work for them, and other people will piss it all away. And you have a value as a human being. And when you give something, like everything else, we've got a thing out here where because I split time between California and Arizona, where they have those bikes, and you can ride, you swipe the little card and everybody rides around on a bike. And then when you're done and it runs out of its little motory engine thing, you just leave it right there. People destroy those things. There's no value in it, right? They don't care. They don't take care. It's not their own. They haven't worked for it. It's a rent. It's how you treat a rental car. It's not your own. You drive it, you spill, you don't care. When it's your own, you're cleaning it up. You're not doing those kind of things. You're not taking those because it's your own. You work for it. That's the value. And when you take that away, you, in many ways, I think you dehumanize people when you do that. And that right there is something that you can't put a price on. When you give somebody something for nothing because you feel that this is the only way that they are going to be able to survive, what you're saying to them is, you basically suck so bad, we have to take care of you. And in your mind, you're dehumanizing them. Even though your heart may be in the right place, psychologically, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I think it is immoral and unethical because we're talking about expropriating higher taxes from basic citizens to fund something like a basic universal income.
Yeah. It's just, it's frustrating. And I talk about this ad nauseum, and we've talked about this before on the program. We talk about, we're still looking to figure out why this is the way it is. Why do these people succeed? Why these people struggle? Well, there's so many things, but if we talk about the things that we see in this area of why there's a struggle, of why people here continue to go through the cycle of poverty and violence and all of those things, we can point to like 1,000 things, all of which you're going to be called out for in some way, shape, or form. You're racist, you're this, you're that. And so you just step back and you say it is what it is. So the best thing to do is just hand them money and tell them to go away. It's ridiculous. It is. There's so many things that if we sat down and we were honest with one another, we could accomplish so much more. But because of the touch and the feel of the society we live in now, it's touchy, it's feely, it's lovey, it's huggy, it's can't say this, that, and the other. Truth may hurt someone's feelings. We just ignore it. And we'll say it's just better to try this. It hasn't worked before, but this time it may work. It's not. It's not. And Chicago's an expensive city. And when you hand somebody no strings attached kind of money, who's not used to having money, and you tell them they can do whatever the hell they want with it, it's free money. You find $100, you gamble with it a totally different way than if it's your $100. Just saying. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Poll question up today about the media. Do you trust the media? Somewhat trust the media? Not at all? Is it fake news? Where do you fit in on that? Text the program 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. My Pillow. I slept like a rock. My little sleepy watch thing that I have says I slept almost 7 hours last night. And I had to get up a little bit earlier today because I had a big walkthrough at a children's hospital we did. And I was like, wow. I don't even remember falling asleep. And I woke up and I feel incredible. I know, same mattress, all these other things. It's got to be something. It's My Pillow. It is incredible. And when I fall into that pillow, I'm out. And you will be too. Here's what they got going on right now. It's a BOGO. Buy one, get one. It's incredible. Machine washable, 100%. Machine dryable, 100%. Made in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty, and ready for you to get your sleep on. I want you to call them right now at 800-944-4975, or you go to mypillow.com. You're going to use the promo code Benson, and you're going to get one for free. So you buy one, you get one for free. You're going to love it. My son has he slept last week. Get ready for this. He fell asleep Saturday night at like 10:30, and he slept till 9:45 the next day. That is incredible. That's how amazing this pillow is. You're going to absolutely love it. Buy one, get one free right now. Call 800-944-4975 or go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. That's mypillow.com. Promo code is BENSON. You're going to buy one, get one free. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We've got your useless fact of the day straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
A bird in the hand is worth 140 on Twitter, so tweet your beak off at Chad Benson Show Twitter. And if instant gratification is your thing, hit Chad up on Instagram at Chad Benson. Your bird will thank you.
The public was outraged on both sides of the aisle, and I think he responded to that.
Trump, just ignore it. Right? You know, don't walk back. Stop saying it was a word, the word this, the word that. At some point in time, you just throw your hands up and you just move on. Remember, we live in a world where we move on every chance we have onto the next thing. Right? We drop it big time. It's like, that was cool yesterday. This is cool today. That was the news yesterday. We forgot. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, immigration, right? These kids being held against their will, their parents stripped from their mother's arms. Evil, bad, awful. On to something new, right? A couple weeks before that, it was, there he is with Kim Jong-un. Boom, we're on to something new. Every time we turn around, we're on to something new. So I look at it like, at some point in time, you just say, we're going to move on. That was yesterday. This is today. Which I think we all need to be more that way. But we're not. But it would help. But when you come back and you continually address it, just let it go. Let it go. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We've got a poll question up today. It's about the media, the hysterical nature of the media anymore. And how much do we even trust the media, right? How much do we? I trust the media in the sense that I know what I'm looking for, right? In the sense that if I'm going to one station, I know they're going to give me a part of a story. They're not lying. They're just not giving me all of the story. And if I go to another station, they're going to give me another part of a story. And then if I mix the two together, which is a pain in the ass at times, I'll probably get all of the story. Not that I watch too much or read too much of, a lot of that crap that's out there, because I know exactly what I'm getting. For most of you, you trust the media? No, you don't. Actually, 33% say I somewhat trust them. 33% I don't trust the media. 21% say fake news. Only 13% of you say you trust the media. Your useless fact of the day: in the early years of McDonald's, they began franchising. Right after that, Ray Kroc and Coca-Cola executive Waddy Pratt entered into a gentleman's handshake agreement that all McDonald's restaurants would offer Coca-Cola exclusively. To this day, both companies honor a handshake agreement, and they have never signed a formal contract. Think about that. Have yourself a great rest of your hump day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.